Welcome back to the channel. This week's really exciting. We had to completely reroute due to a flood across the road. I've got evidence that fairies really do exist, which I'll share with you. And we go to visit the most besieged castle in the country. So, if you are new to the channel, then you are so very, very welcome. Sue and I retired and we left home in March of this year, 2022. We've not set an end date and we're going to keep travelling in our motorhome until we get bored, but we're nowhere near bored yet. The UK has got some beautiful things to offer. So it's not a polished channel, we're both of a generation where tech came to us relatively late, so we're learning about videoing and editing as we go, but that's my new hobby and I'm having lots and lots of fun doing that. But hopefully what we can do is share some of the places that we go to, give you a little taster, and it might be something that you would want to do yourselves. So really do hope you enjoy it. Driving through the Lake District, even on a wet and damp day, is such a joyful experience. Sit back and enjoy. The route out of Ambleside follows a good A road with a shortcut, but oops, this is where we ran into a flood. Oh my goodness, look at this. We are going to have to turn around here somehow and go back. Getting through there. So last week we talked about rain, and on our move on day we've had to turn around because the road that we've taken is completely flooded. So there's a whole queue of traffic, including another climber which was behind us, all turning around in a very small section of road to get back. So our journey is slightly longer than we anticipated. So we were forced to turn around and head back to the main A roads, the A591 followed by the A66, which took us all the way into Penrith. We had a short stop at Sainsbury's to restock the fridge before we headed off to our next destination, the small village of Ousby. Crossfell Caravan Park is a small site with a pub opposite. There aren't brilliant walks for the dogs, but the lanes are so quiet, it's not a problem. Moving on from Crossfell Caravan Park, we head back towards the M6 and north towards Carlisle, where once again we stop to restock the fridge at Tesco's before continuing on to our final destination, Engelthwaite Hall Caravan and Motorhome Club site. So this is super pretty, isn't it? Morning walk with the dogs at our most recent site with these lovely woodlands.
Hey, Archie, come here. Good boy. No, go that way then.
Go on, sing for us again. Sing again. Access to the woodlands is directly from the site, and as you'll see from the next sequence of shots, they're absolutely vast. Loads of walking for the dogs. In fact, one day we managed 8 kilometres and we never stepped out of the woods. I'm fascinated by this place that we found. It's called Fairy Glen. I'm just walking through it now, and it's part of the campsite. So I tell you what, in the summer, if you came here with children, they'd be absolutely fascinated by this place. Hang on, down the steps, quite steep steps. Found them yesterday with Archie, but he's not overly keen on that. Hopefully, as I'm wandering by, you'll see all these little houses all around, with little doors in them. There's a really spectacular one just up here. I'm just about to come past it now. There it is, there it is, there it is. I reckon that must belong to the mayor of Fairy Glen, because it's quite impressive, isn't it? Hey, I'd like to live in a house like that. How cool is this place? Sue and the dogs are standing under the remaining arch of the Augustinian priory that preceded Carlisle Cathedral. And after leaving the cathedral grounds, we head towards Carlisle Castle. So we're currently walking around the grounds of Carlisle Castle. I think I was about 9 or maybe 10 when I last came here with my grandad, and the reason we did that is my grandad trained here in the army when he first joined as a young private for the Second World War. So this has got some personal history for me, as well as obviously a huge amount of history. Look at those cannons. Hey, those would definitely have kept off the marauding Scots, although they have managed to let one in, at least one, into the castle today. So, look at these steep stairs that I'm going down now. Crikey. Because I'm coming right up the other side. Well, let's see. Oh. Well, we'll have to read up about that and find out what that is. Very odd. Just go down underneath there, around underneath the ground, then you come up here. Carlisle Castle has been a working castle for over 900 years, and its strong keep has held many prisoners over the centuries. The walls of the castle are impressive. It's hard to see how anyone could successfully storm the castle's walls. The steps round this corner are far too steep for Archie. As I walk down the corridor, the first doorway on the left is into a room used for storage of food. And for me, this is the exciting bit, because there's apparently the dungeon in here. And there's a thing that my granddad told me of called the licking stone. So I'll tell you a bit more about that, hopefully in a voiceover later. But I know as a young child I found it absolutely fascinating.
there it is.
So you have to imagine 90 of them in here for 18 months.
Oh, that would have been awful.
And they're not just there either. They're also further up onto the wall. And if you come all the way, there's some quite deep ones.
Oh gosh, look at that. And that's how they survived
And that's
for 18 months.
So whilst we tour some other rooms in the castle, I just thought I'd explain why I think Archie didn't like that room. After the defeat of the Jacobites in 1746, lots of prisoners were brought to Carlisle Castle by the British government of the day, and 90 prisoners were kept in that room where the licking stone was. Only a third of those prisoners survived after 18 months, and they were forced to lick the damp walls, literally, to stay alive. Prisoners were either sent for trial or tried for treason, which was of course a capital offence, and in those days hanging, drawing and quartering was the punishment of those found guilty. That actually did happen at Carlisle. If you've enjoyed this episode, as always, give us that big thumbs up, much appreciated. And if you're not subscribed already, subscribe to the channel, it does help us grow. And don't forget to clang the little bell so you get those weekly notifications. And, well, see you next time.